Another week, another vlog. So this week has been a busy one. As I said, like in the previous vlogs, that I'm trying to pivot from my startup because I felt that it's more of a vitamin than a painkiller. What I realized that sometimes good companies can come out from a vitamin, not a painkiller, but you have to have some sort of a track record, some sort of a following, some sort of a distribution channel. But if you're like someone like me, was like first time founder and like been trying to like don't have some sort of network, some sort of like an exit before, something like that. So your odds are very hard, and it's better to start with a painful problem so that the odds are at least on your favor. I loved the startup idea that I was working on, and I know like at some point if I become like an angel investor or someone who does that, I will definitely fund something like this. But for now, I don't think I will continue in this. And so what I did this week was like I attended two events. One mainly talking about like SMEs and like what's happening in the ecosystem, mainly in Egypt. And I found out two very interesting things. Number one, agriculture is mostly the biggest industry here in Egypt, and that's interesting. And number two, that more than 50% of the harvest is waste. Yeah, like one thing that shocked me is like, for example, the strawberry harvest this year was nearly trash. And that's because like most of the farmers have like planted strawberry, and by the time like the harvest came, most of it was just it's very expensive to I think it's very expensive to move like the strawberries from the farm to the stores, that it was cheaper to leave it there to rot for the farmers. And that's something that caught my eye. Maybe there is a lot of inefficiency in this, but I don't have any network. I don't know about like the ICP. I don't know about like their ecosystem. I don't know their language. So that's a big thing. The other part that has been like in my mind for a long time now is compliance. I know it's very generic, but it's something that caught my interest so much because it has a lot of inefficiencies, like in general. And I'm not here speaking just about Egypt or even the MENA region. I think it's worldwide. Number two, I think there are two companies that one of them is possibly a unicorn now. It's called Vanta, but it's mainly focused on compliance related to SOC 2 and like automating like HIPAA, I think. I'm still new to this, but I think there is something there. And like compliance had a lot of fields. Like you have the legal, you have construction, you have healthcare, you have fintech, you have SaaS companies. So I think I might start there because like for compliance there is many aspects, like from monitoring your like the transactions, for example, of fraud, from like filling in endless questionnaires and filling in endless forms, to like being compliant if you want like to get a license in the central bank or something like that. So it's still very broad, it's still very vague, but I think that's like the methodology I'm trying to follow is like try to understand the market and then maybe niche down after like having a lot of discovery calls. I found out like throughout my network that I have a couple of friends actually working in fintech, people working in like legal industries and regulatory industries. So I think I'll do discovery calls around this. Maybe I start to understand like what's the painful point. And one rule I have is I will not write a single line of code until I understand the painful problem that customers are facing, and what exactly is like the solution for something like that, and and they're willing to pay for it. Because like for example in compliance there might be like I can do a lot of automation here, but the clients don't need anything like this, maybe. So that's why like that's the plan, is like to have a discovery call, try to understand the market, and then decide what kind of criteria I will niche down upon, like whether it's going to be, for example, fintech, healthcare, and exactly what kind of clientele. Like, is it early stage fintechs that are trying to get like licenses? Is it like healthcare tech companies? Is it going to be like something very different from all of these? That's what I'm trying to understand and get for like in the next couple of weeks. And from there I'll start like to see if I get LOIs, like letter of intent. I can speak more about that in different video, but that will confirm that these customers are willing to pay for something like this. And from there I'll start building. So wish me luck, and till we meet next time.